Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Hybrid Theory podcast. My name is Lakey.
I am Emma.
And I'm Ste.
Tonight we'll go back to our roots and look at how we got started, how we got to where we are now, and what our plans and hopes are for the future. So without further ado, let us jump right into the first topic. How and when did you start playing World of Warcraft?
If I remember correctly, I started on 24th of September. Let's do it again. 24th of April 2008, and I believe my first character was a priest that I very quickly got bored of. And I made my druid, and I stuck with her until now. Started off leveling Boomkin, joined the guild when I was level 24. That was the guild Eye of Stormwind, where you were in as well, Lake.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember being amazed by Darkshore. It was the first zone out of Teldrassil, Shadowglen, whatever it's called, got into. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I rolled Night Elves primarily. I think I started probably around in 2006, probably in the summertime at some point. My next door neighbour was playing it and introduced me to it. And I think the first thing I made was probably a druid. And I think I got that to level 10-ish. And then started again and made a hunter. And I can remember doing all the pet taming things that you had to do, where you would have to go out and you would tame off like random pets with a special rod of taming, and you had to tame them all, and pets still had happiness and they could run away if they got unhappy.
Yeah.
I remember taming my first pet at level 10 and running to Darnassus and getting just to the gate and having it run away at the gate. And that was quite sad.
Yeah, I remember the druid quest, especially the aquatic one, because you had to go to Westfall and
my
no
goodness,
idea where that was.
You need the two idols from underwater and you had to go right down and find them. They were like right in the fatigue zone and the breath bit as well, so you had to...
I think you get that quest. Fatigue, but... You got that quest at level 16, but I don't think I got it done until level 30.
And how about you, Steve?
I started playing on a friend's account back in school. Like, I loved the game when I saw it, and I made any excuse to go up here. It'd be straight in from school, phone him up, can I come up yours? Because I loved it. I was playing a hunter and a druid on his account. And then I badgered me dad for a good 4 months or so to get me the game. And I got it for Christmas. And I've not unsubbed for the last 5 years. I don't know what it was, but this game hooked me. When I got my own account, I loved my druid on my mate's account. It's the only thing I wanted to play a pitch. But when I got my own account, I started with a hunter. I don't know why I made the transition. I think it was I wanted the pet. Like, I wanted something that would just follow me around.
Yeah.
So I leveled that up and got that to 80, and I raided with it and everything. I can't remember raid. I must have been carried so hard because I didn't know things like hit cap until I'd leveled my Death Knight on Ghostlands. But I re-rolled the Ghostlands with friends, and then kind of casual play up until back end of Cata when I joined Novus. Re-rolled the Paladin because they needed a healer, and I do not regret re-rolling Paladin because it kicks the shit out of your classes. Just saying.
I think I would have to take issue with that. But
yeah, different spec.
That's a conversation for another podcast. But yeah, I remember playing in Wrath. In fact, I got my hunter at first to 80 in Wrath and went through dungeons with it, and I was just so depressed at how little damage I could do that I just switched over to my druid and I started tanking on my druid. And I remember tanking Naxxramas 10-man with a friend from school called Ollie, and we both tanked on feral druids at the time, doing Naxxramas normal. I remember all of that before druids had like savage defense and all this active mitigation. They just had big health and everything.
I remember that.
Good times. But then I think it was probably Ice Crown. In fact, I switched. I missed Ulduar. I stopped playing for the brief period, and I missed Ulduar, which is probably the worst raid I could have ever missed.
Oh, I remember Ulduar. I never fucking saw Ulduar. The guild I was in were farming Nax until TOC came out. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Especially since Nax was easy.
I switched over to Resto for Trial of Champion. I remember raiding with I think it was with may or may not have been with Halgrim, but it was with another paladin tank that I remember healing. I sort of went in, I joined their guild and raided. I didn't join it. I went and tagged along with their guild runs of Trial of Champion, and I was adamant that I could be a druid tank healer, and I just would refuse to.
Same.
I was just like, I can tank heal.
I cannot imagine
seriously.
you
And
playing a healer.
Oh, I can play a healer. I can play all classes. Tank is probably the worst. Tank, then melee, then healer, then ranged. But yeah, I was just adamant I could do it because, like, back in Wrath, it was very sort of, you had the tank healers and you had the raid healers. Paladins were the tank healers, and I was just like, no, I can do this. I have 3 stacks of life bloom, and I've got all these. I can keep 3 hots rolling on them all the time. I can tank heal. Why are you not letting me tank heal? And I remember doing that, and then in Naxxramas, I started doing 25-man ICC with Halgrim's team, which was good fun. I remember doing that. I remember playing on my warrior and trying to DPS race with Holgate and the whole armor pen thing. And
I hated that.
My
hated
rogue.
armor pen.
Warriors,
Loved
every
it.
time they took my braces from Sourfang.
Oh,
I had 219 or
Armor
232
pen.
braces or something.
oh,
I remember
that sucked.
spending ages farming that trinket in the 5-man.
Oh
Gorgeous
yeah,
Souls.
I know. I think I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was something like crit with an armor pen proc or
Yeah,
something like that,
it
or
was
the other way
really
around. And I spent ages farming it on my rogue. A couple of weeks after I got it, the armor pen change came into effect.
Yeah.
Useless.
Oh god. Yeah.
I haven't touched my rogue since, like, I barely play that.
I remember getting to
disheartened.
100% armor pen on my hunter. Oh my god, the numbers were beautiful. That was back when marksmanship was the raiding spec, which is a long time ago. It's been a while since the last time it was in was Firelands, and that was only just. But that was good.
I miss things like armor pen.
The problem was it's just the more of it you got, the better it was. So you just forsake all other stats to get it.
But you forsake everything to get it.
Yeah. So it was just. Yeah, I would be
like
picking up
something like
leather
that
gear.
brought back
In
in
fact,
a
I
different-
remember. Yeah, in fact, no, the braces of was it Southang Emma? The braces you said they were.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I got those braces. Getting that leather gear. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I remember doing ICC with Lost in 10-man, and I was completely carried.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh man, like
just-
because I dropped my hunter because it was the DPS was so low, and then I went back to it for Ice Crown and just slowly got better and better and better, and just I would wreck face with armor
I
pen
remember when I
MM.
started proper raid. I don't count what I did on my hunter as raiding because I really can't remember it. I mean, this is back when I was a complete clicker, no idea what I was doing, and I can still perfectly picture a screenshot we had where we killed Kel'Thuzad and we were sat on his throne. The whole 10, I won't say 10-man, the whole 10-man team might have even been 25. We were sat on the team, and I could distinctly remember all of the people who I raided with then. And
Yeah.
I've lost the screenshot a couple of years back, and that is the one screenshot I want more than any other. It's like I've got used to have loads of them, but I missed that one. But it came to Ghostlands, rolled the Death Knight to get up to max level quickly so I could play with a friend, and tanked for them in ICC as a Death Knight who didn't know much and didn't know what hit caps, expertise cap, def cap, didn't know what def cap was for a while. Didn't stop me.
The defense cap. Yeah.
Rolled mage, and shortly after I rolled mage, I found out about things like the hit cap Why? Once I was hit capped, fucking hell, I was a god. Nothing
Not as
missed
a mage,
anymore.
yeah.
It's like I would send out a massive like pyroblast and it didn't miss. This was unheard of for me. Oh, I miss those days. The pug, well, semi-pug ICC runs every weekend between BRB, Lost, and is it Eternals the other one?
Yeah, Eternals were around in Wrath.
Ridiculous. Love those
Yeah,
days.
I think most people do look back to Wrath as their sort of best. I think all the people who had their sort of most fun in Vanilla and BC are gone now.
Yeah.
And the people that had it in Wrath have
Well, I
stuck
think the thing
around.
with Wrath for me was when I started. I mean, I played a little bit on my friend's account in BC, but when I started, it was in Wrath and it was my account and things. And that's when everything happened for me.
I
mean,
remember when I traded from
this, that, and the other.
From trial, because I made like 5 trial accounts in a row and just used the 10 days free and just kept leveling characters up to 20. Oh my god! I remember playing with my next door neighbor. He was on a druid and I was on a hunter, and I was racing him along the Darkshore coast. He was in the water in aquatic form, and I was running with Aspect of the Cheetah, just racing along Darkshore. And I remember getting to level 20 and getting aim shot, and how awesome aim shot was. Stuff like that. It's good times.
Can you remember? We both of you two on Ghostlands. Your entire thing.
Been Ghostlands forever, yeah.
Yeah. I was only on Bronze Dragonflight for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then I came here. But can you remember a guild? I'm sure it was Divinity.
Yeah, I remember Divinity. The name at the very least.
Awful. Nah. Do not look back on that fondly. I only have like one friend from there. Rest of them, but that's where I got my first taste of Britain. Then Lost, and then I'm sure I used to heal for Kingslayers and early cat.
Oh, I remember the Kingslayers.
You.
Wow. Right. So moving on from that, how for after Wrath then? What were we all doing in Cataclysm? Because I'm pretty sure that's the point at which we all ended up converging.
Kata was nothing compared to Wrath, but started off in Lost, and then Lost started to disband early Kata. So I was joining Kingslayers fairly regularly, and I was on the verge of, joining them, but never really made the leap. Then went hard for a change and joined Dragonbait. That's where I met people like Scar. And then when they all started leaving Dragonbait, because let's face it, who wanted to be in Dragonbait? They came aligned. Shortly after, I thought, I really am not having fun here anymore. So I followed suit and followed them into Novus, and then you just haven't been able to get rid of me since.
So that's a interesting thing. I came out of Wrath in the Knights of the Templar Guild. Before that, I had my own guild called Founded that I was trying to do, which was a 10-man guild with a couple of people. And that just wasn't working out, and we were going to move on to another guild. I was with another couple of friends then, and it was pretty much a toss-up between Novus and Knights of the Templar for raiding ICC, and I ended up choosing Knights of the Templar instead of Novus, and kind of really regret that decision now. Like, it'd been much nicer to be in Novus earlier on, because things went down pretty badly in Knights of the Templar.
Our Novus team already had 2 hunters, so I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, I was better than both of them, so
yeah, but
taken me.
Halgrim wasn't like that.
Halgrim. Oh, Halgrim, how I miss thee.
I do quite miss when I didn't really know anyone, and I was still getting to know people in late Kata rather.
Yeah.
I miss when I would rush home and log on and try and see if you had a spot available, and just because I was hooked, I was really enjoying it. Healing was fantastic.
I didn't at the start of Cataclysm. I was still in Knights of the Templar, and then the whole thing just disbanded. I went off and made my own guild, Founded again. We tried to raid with that, and then that just didn't work out. and ended up coming to Novus because they were looking for a range DPS, and that was just like, it was interesting being in the new team. Like it was a nice change because I hadn't been in a new team for a while. But I don't know, it was. If I find it quite when I came into the team, it was Shaboff was there, Emma was there, and
No,
I think
we didn't have
that's...
Shaboff.
No? Oh, Shaboff, no, Shaboff came
No,
in
he came
violence, didn't
after
he?
you.
In which case, oh, we had John, didn't we? Oh my God,
Yeah.
John. But yeah, I came. So there was only Emma. So there's, I think, from the Novus team then that started in Cataclysm raiding. Me and Emma are the only people still from there.
Yeah.
And then some way through Dragon Soul, we kept bringing Shamba in, and then we started bringing Steve's Mage as well, and then we got his Paladin, and then that was, yeah.
Yeah, we only got those people in was because Liz was in Dragon Bait.
Yeah. Liz was the
If it wasn't for Liz...
Yeah, it's interesting
Okay.
that we have like a sort of tied history with quite a lot of guilds. Quite funny looking back at that.
It's a rather small server.
Yeah, that's
Wouldn't
true.
be too difficult.
But then, yeah, I mean, Dragon Soul, we cleared everything, so that was pretty decent. I mean, but I think that was quite an easy tier, so it
We did
wasn't too
it
hard.
after nerf.
Yeah,
Heroic
true.
then.
But then, what is it? We came into Mist still in Novus, and just it just wasn't like. I remember we had Ross as well, and like he just, it was like a really sort of three completely different way sort of leadership thing, and we were just sort of all different about how we were doing things. And
I think it worked out quite well. I mean, look at where we've come from being in Novus.
That's true. I mean, we did keep, well, in fact, at the end of it, it was everyone we kept. So, I mean, I think we took the best from Novus and kept them with us because there wasn't really anyone else.
I mean,
there.
In Dragon Soul, Novus were ranked about 9 to 10,000, and now we're at about 700. I mean, that's improvement.
Indeed. I mean, I think we. Yeah, I think we've always had the capacity to be good at raiding. We've just not had the means because people have just got real life, and it just
that's definitely screwed us up.
Interacts so much. We can't do anything about it. But yeah, we've shown when we have a week with a full team what we can do with it, and I think we're easily the best raiding guild on the server, I would say.
I would definitely agree.
That said, are we posting this up for the rest of Ghostlands to look? Are we going to call VA out like that?
Say.
Well, I'm not saying VA aren't a fantastic team.
We can edit this out, it's fine.
But, I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I'd base us being the best team not on just kills alone, but on atmosphere and everything else to do with the team.
Yeah. I definitely think we offer the best all-round package. I think.
All round.
Sorry?
No, continue. Never mind.
You making innuendos, Emma?
No, she's laughing at your choice of words. Overall package, but it's like you're advertising for a product. Are we a product? Well, to be fair, we are a product of awesomeness.
Right, anyway, we digress a little bit. So we'll go back to sort of looking at the history of WoW and the classes you played, and what sort of spells, abilities, anything about your class that has been taken out of the game now that you wish you had back. And I mean, straight off, I want Eyes of the Beast back.
Oh, Eyes of the
I don't
Beast
know
is awesome!
why they took it out, I have no idea.
That was fun with Devil Swords. Just run them through everywhere.
Just not happy that they removed that. Don't know why they did, so...
Can't remember durability, I went back.
I think something you would probably vouch for is the druid only Anzu mount.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't druid only. It was just druid could summon them. Not that it's just there.
To be honest, I
100%
think
of the
something
time.
like
That's
that should
ridiculous.
have been druid only to begin with. I mean, paladins have got what's it called? Oh my god,
The charger.
The
the
charger.
charger. My mind just went blank. But yeah, paladins have got the charger. Warlocks have got the dreadsteed. Why couldn't druids have had that as their own?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason. Blizzard are giving too much to everyone, but a paladin ability I would want back. I mean, I didn't play a paladin back when this was
Divine
here,
intervention.
but divine intervention.
Yes.
Oh. I mean,
No repair
obviously,
cost.
yeah, all the paladins in when I was leveling and raiding on my DK and my mage, they all used it and it was fantastic. It's like, oh wait, we're gonna wipe now, wipe prevention, fantastic. And I never got a chance to play with that, and I really dislike that. That's my only regret of not rolling a paladin earlier. Is I didn't get to do the quest chain for the mount, but I'm not that bothered. But mostly divine intervention.
That's one thing I really want back is class quest chains. Just
Definitely.
They made the classes feel so much more sort of unique. It gave you something you could go off and do. I mean, to a certain extent, they've done some stuff with hunters with the taming challenges for the spirit beasts, which is nice. Because like you have to use your skills as a hunter to tame the beast in varieties of ways. You have to take off all your gear to get one because it does more damage the more armor you have, and you have to
I
like
remember doing.
interrupt, and then it's interesting things that they've done with that, and I like what they did with that. And I just wish they could do more stuff like that with other classes, like the warlock quest chain and everything. Just things like that make it fun.
I remember having to skin many black dragon whelps to get black dragon scales for a warlock friend I had. Spent hours doing that.
Yeah.
What was that give you? Why did he want that?
Because you needed to upgrade your level 40 back then steed to your level 60 steed.
Right. Oh.
I didn't play in vanilla raiding at all, which is something that I wish I had got to experience. That would be nice.
I don't
think of
really...
anything. I don't know.
well,
It
vanilla,
may have, I think it was a lot
Yeah.
different than how it is now. It was more just community-wise with the 40 people.
I mean, how fun would it have been to have been a paladin? Buff, buff, buff,
Every 5
buff,
minutes.
buff. Boring.
Yeah,
Or-
true.
Or that
Dude,
whole system
yeah.
where like one healer sits and does nothing, and then when the other healer's mana runs out, he does something to get out of combat, and you start healing.
Just tagging
how is
in and
that
out.
fun? Yeah, it is. It's basically just tag.
Yeah.
You're in. It's not fun. At least to me, it doesn't go as fun.
I don't know. I think I'd. Anything else? I don't think I want pet happiness back. I think I probably.
No, that was rather annoying.
I could probably do without that.
I think it'd
Yeah.
be cool if pet happiness was brought back, but it had no impact on your actual DPS. It was a cosmetic thing.
Yeah, true.
So the happier your pet,
Yeah, you could make a
the
mini
bigger
game
he
out
will
of it.
be, or something like that. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'd be just something small and interesting where they bring
Yeah.
something back. Like for me, I would love to have auras back, because I hate the way auras are now.
yeah.
It's terrible. We have one aura and it's useless. It's
Yeah, I would. That would
crap.
be so. If paladins had just sort of multiple auras that they could use for different situations and whatnot, and maybe, I don't know. Be interesting. See, having them passive just makes it too easy.
Yeah, I mean, the way it is, they had to change it because otherwise it's just we need to bring 3 paladins so we have those auras covered. But I would like it to just have a bit of choice. Whereas
Yeah.
now you have a choice of your seals, which does not exist because any ret's going to use truth, any paladin's going to use insight, and any healer's going to use insight. So that's basically useless. And then you've got your one devotion aura that you can't use a lot of the time anyway. Like a boss's big AoE, lol, nope, that's physical damage. It's so frustrating to have like this one cooldown that I don't get to use all that often
Yeah.
because of the way it's done. And yeah, it's very strong when you've got a magical damage come out, but Blizzard seem to think, right, we can't have magic, we'll just do physical. Fuck paladins.
Yeah. I don't think of anything else that I'd want back. I like the way they've gone with
Either.
at the moment. I don't know. You got any ideas for things that you would like implemented? Abilities that you would like to have? You don't have at the moment?
Divine intervention count.
New abilities. Fresh abilities.
A way for feral druids to transfer either dots or combo points like rogues have, because it's very punishing ever have to change target.
I think then that it's sort of, you just keep going back into the class homogenization.
We do get it with symbiosis, but we have a warlock, but Eclectic steals his thing all the time for the damage reduction. And well, Radistir is not as bad with ads, don't have many ads, so it's not that important to
Well,
get
the thing
it.
with that, at least with dots, it's kind of you've diseased this target, and now you're going to spread that disease to that guy as well. Whereas with a dot, it's like you've cut this target, he is now bleeding, and you're going to somehow make that leap to the guy next to him. It'd be good if there's two targets together.
Well,
you
then
had a
the
way
You
to
could
have
come
your
up with
cleave
either a cleave ability that you could do similar to Blade Flurry, that if they were close enough, you could apply them both, like with a cooldown ability or something. Like your dots now afflict the nearest two targets or something, or your target and one near other target, or something like another spell that applies all the benefit you get from your dots, but a weaker version of it that's cheaper that you can use, that's a short duration sort of quick ticking dot. Because if you've got ads and you want to get on them, but your dots are just gonna not get a chance to tick off and do all their damage, you want something quick.
Thing is, on 3 or more targets I'm supposed to shred, and that's pretty cool. But if there's like 2 targets next to each other, let's take the twin consorts last phase, for example. It's difficult now to keep up dots on both targets. It's pretty easy in Dragon Soul because of the 204 set that you could use your Ferocious Bite at 60% rather than 25. It was amazing, so good. And it was really good back then on Blue Chip Heroic with the ads. But you can't do that anymore, it just doesn't work. The dots are not quite as long to keep that up. So something like that would be nice.
If the dots get too long, then you just sort of...
don't have anything to do.
Yeah. That's the whole thing about Feral that's nice, is that you've got to constantly be on top of keeping all your dots up, your buffs up, and everything just it's sort of like balancing spinning plates. You've got sort of like 5 or so plates, and you have to constantly be checking all of them and making sure they're all still up. And I really enjoyed that about the Feral play style. So I think classes need to have their strengths and weaknesses, though. You can't just be good at everything.
Yeah.
And I think maybe if Blizzard just designed fights in such a way that you're still
viable,
you're still being useful in the fight if your class abilities don't make you really strong for that fight.
Well,
so like multi-dotting fights are just things that I don't know, just make your utility a bit more useful for the raid. Because I mean, Hunter utility in traps has just been like seldom used,
non-existent
since goodness knows when, and it's just with the travel time of trap launch, it's just a bit awkward to use.
What I would like to see is something like your level 90 talent or whatever, you get a choice between like 3 things, and one of them will lower your single target damage but allow you to cleave, like for example an ability that will let you spread your dots or your
but then
bleeds
do you
to
give
the
that
next
to
target.
every class?
But the way it work, I would say, is, for example, Feral Druids, we can spec into that, but they're still going to be weak in AoE damage compared to, say, a Rogue who can cleave, or a Boomkin or something. However, the Feral Druid would be higher, would have a better single target than the other one. But I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, Blizzard have a hell of a time trying to balance it all. I think it's probably best just to balance around the current tier, the way they do it at the moment, and just give don't make a class rubbish for every fight in the tier. Just give different fights, different niches that make different classes good at certain aspects of it, and just do it that way. Which is what they're doing. I don't think they're doing a terrible job of it. I think sometimes you just have to accept that.
Fantastic.
You just have to accept that your class isn't going to be great at this fight,
Yeah.
but there are plenty of other fights that you're really good at.
I'm pretty pleased with Siege of Orgrimmar at the moment.
Oh,
I'm not as
definitely,
good
I've loved it.
on. What am I not as good on? Amalgamation. Because of the ads and stuff. But I'm
Nourishing. Yeah,
very
that's a
good
bit
on
of an
Garrosh.
awkward one.
with all the ads at the start.
Yeah.
Just leave them down, no problem.
I think, yeah, I've liked it. I loved the cinematic to introduce Siege of Orgrimmar. I think that's probably one of the best introduction cinematics that they've done. I think that really set the scene so well. And when Taranzu is talking to Garrosh, it was just like such a badass cinematic.
Yes.
Well, that's what I think we lack in Kata. I mean, in Wrath of the Lich King, you leveled up.
I think the thing is, they set it up so, because Garrosh has been around for a while now, it's set up. Deathwing just sort of, yes, he's been in the lore back in like Warcraft 2 and in the books, but he wasn't in the game. People didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And like for people who did, this was the aspect of us. This is Neltharion, the aspect of death now, and it makes sense to people who have read the books and know about the lore. But for the majority of the player base, they got no idea what was going on.
Why I think they've done Mop so much better than they did Kata. Kata was so boring. Like, we've killed Deathwing's tentacles. Awesome.
Yeah, indeed.
But here it's like you've seen Garrosh on multiple occasions. You've seen the army landing in Krasarang Wild. You've seen you've done these sort of solo quest chains where you've seen more of the story. You've gone into scenarios. You learn of all of this, that, and the other. I mean, the Golden Bell or whatever it was, very early on. That was an interesting one where it's like a really powerful weapon, and Garrosh is there and all that. And
I think they did the story for this expansion well. I think I liked how the story, and I liked 5.1. The going through all that story. Yes, it was dailies, and it would be nice if they implemented it in the way that they're doing it now with the Timeless Isle. I think they've hit a sweet spot now with the Timeless Isle. That's the sort of a decent model for.
I think they need a bit more on Timeless Isle. It's good, but it could be better.
I think the sort of bouncing back between dailies and not dailies and what to do with it, but I think they've got a lot of components that they can sort of work with and put together to make a really nice experience for storytelling in the game now.
Yeah, they shouldn't add the loot chests though. That's a bit over the top. It's good for a last patch of an expansion, but not as a first patch, because you just get epics thrown at you.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be epics. That's one thing that I'd be in favour of, is just taking epics out of a lot of things. Make items from LFR and Flex blue.
Well, what I was thinking,
they can have the same eye level, just make them blue. Make dungeon drops all blue, and bring back sort of the epic feel of actually getting epics, because the name sort of lost a lot of its sense.
But what I was thinking was something like dungeons, like 5-mans or scenarios, whatever they go for in the future, would drop greens, but they'd be a step above your questing greens, where they would actually have that, and maybe one or two might have a gem slot, and then you would go into dungeon LFR/Flex, which would drop blues.
I think I would be happy for
very small chance of purple, and then raids
normal dungeons to drop greens, then heroic dungeons to drop blues. Because otherwise, for normal raiders, you have no progression system. Yes, all normal raiders are going to do Flex and LFR, but the Blizzard don't want you to do that. And ideally, you would go from dungeons straight into normals. So if you make the LFR gear and the Flex gear, because it's not going to work either way, you're just going to do the best way to gear up. But it just takes a lot of time to do looking for raid, Flex, dungeons, and your normal raids at the start of an expansion. So I don't know if they'll find a solution to that or not.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember at the start of the expansion, it was like you would go around and it's like, oh, that guy's he's kitted out in his best possible gear from dungeons, and then you've got the guy next to him who's got like a few purples, and like he's a fairly casual raider, and you've got the guy standing next to the two of them who is full purples, and you're like, he's really geared. He mustn't be that bad and all that. But then you get to like now, he's purple, he's purple, he's purple.
Everyone has got full purple gear, so it just doesn't mean
And it doesn't
anything
look
anymore.
any different. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
the stats are a bit different, but that's not really that impressive. It's like, yeah, but my item's like, 10 eye levels higher than that guy's. I'm so much better. It doesn't really come across that way.
But then you have transmogrification, or at least for look perspective, you're not inspecting people, it just sort of nullifies that. But I think we shall call it there, seeing as we've probably only got about half an hour until our raid time. So, you have been listening to the Hybrid Theory podcast. We will see you next time, and until then, please try not to stand in any fire.